Your doctor has been telling you that all your labs are normal, and yet you don't feel normal. Maybe it's that your energy is off. Maybe your thinking is foggy. Maybe you're losing some of your drive. Something doesn't feel right. So, which is it? Are you fine? Or is something being missed? Now, before I create any concerns, I want to clarify that your conventionally trained doctor has good intent to try to figure out what is wrong with you and why you are not feeling well. But sadly, the conventional tests that most doctors are using are not going to give you the insight that you need to make a significant change in your health. This video is all about giving you the best direction for insightful laboratory testing and getting you well. I'm Scott Resnick. I'm a medical doctor who is making these videos to simplify the science and to help you to get better without using drugs. I'm sharing what I've learned in my 30 years of practicing medicine, and today we are talking about the 4 most important labs that you need to get deep insight into your overall health. These are 4 laboratory tests that your doctor has probably likely never ordered. And they'll tell you how your systems are working and give you insight into the quality of your life and the quality of your health. Conventional doctors stick to conventional tests. Things like basic blood counts, chemistry panels, lipid studies. And while these all offer some useful information, they don't address the bigger questions. Questions like, am I inflamed? Is my metabolism running well? And are my nutritional foundations in place? Because at the end of the day, the amount of energy that your body can produce is going to define how you feel, how you think, and how your body functions. This is the information that you want your lab testing to be telling you. Now, if you knew that a single mineral acted on 600 to maybe 700 processes in your body, would you want to know if it was in range? Or if a vitamin was known to bind to and activate a full 10% of your DNA, would you want to know that level as well? And what if a single test could reflect how well your B vitamins were working and whether you were at increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and for cardiovascular disease? Of course you would. So let's get into it. Laboratory test number 1 is magnesium. Would you believe that there is a mineral that is almost never measured correctly, and yet it is known to be involved in hundreds of biochemical processes in your body? And it is so infrequently measured correctly, if it's measured at all. And most doctors measure a serum magnesium, but the result can often be misleading. Because if you had a multivitamin in the morning or a meal before your blood draw, you might show a normal serum or even an elevated normal serum level of magnesium, when in fact you could be entirely deficient in your whole body's stores. So here the critical lab number 1 is known as a red blood cell magnesium. And a red blood cell magnesium samples the mineral from a collection of individual red blood cells, and it reflects your body's total magnesium stores and not just what is circulating in your bloodstream. The second critical nutrient is vitamin D, and vitamin D is known to be notoriously low in almost all populations around the globe, whether due to location or weather or clothing or sunscreen. Vitamin D is involved in the activation of up to 10% of our DNA, and it is also strongly associated with things like autoimmunity and heart disease and osteoporosis. So measure your vitamin D levels and make sure that your value is somewhere between 60 and 80. That seems to be the sweet spot. Critical lab number 3 is homocysteine. So if you could measure one marker that reflected your ability to activate your DNA, to clear toxins, and to build neurotransmitters, would you measure it? That marker is homocysteine. And homocysteine is a value that reflects how well your vitamins B12 and B6 and B9, also known as folate, are functioning. Homocysteine measures something known as methylation, and the ability to methylate is a critical biochemical step in so many places in the body. high homocysteine has been associated with heart disease and cognitive decline. A homocysteine value greater than 10 may merit treatment, but don't worry, it's actually pretty easy to bring down your homocysteine with some focused vitamin treatments, including those vitamins that I just mentioned. Now, you've probably noticed to this point that we are working soundly in the foundations of my health systems pyramid. A strong foundational base reverberates through the rest of the pyramid and the rest of our physiology. Because when our nutrition is sound and when our metabolism is running well, all of the overlying layers come into and stay in balance. Now, the next critical marker for metabolism is free T3. Now, it's important to think of thyroid hormone as the body's thermostat, because when we are sick, when we're hungry, we're stressed, we shift towards a lower metabolic state. And sadly, most doctors still only measure TSH, which stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. But TSH does not measure the active hormone in the body. Free T3 does. And in my experience, people do best when they can get their free T3 into the upper half to the upper third of the laboratory's normal range. So measure it and get yourself there and start feeling good again. Now, the bonus marker is what's known as a high sensitivity C-reactive protein, and it is perhaps the most critical laboratory measurement that your doctor probably has never ordered. A C-reactive protein is a sensitive measurement of inflammation in the body. It is represented as a small red dot that sits beneath the health systems pyramid. And with less inflammation, more of our overlying systems stay in balance. And the more inflammation we have, the faster that we age and the worse that we feel. With high inflammation, everything in the health systems pyramid slowly goes off the rails. So measure your C-reactive protein, and if it is below 1, you're doing great. Your doctor was never really lying to you. They simply were not trained to think outside of identifying a symptom and then choosing a drug to counteract that symptom. Because when we address systems and learn to prioritize what actually matters, developing a plan and a strategy around your health becomes so much easier. In the next videos, I'm going to go deeper into each of these markers, deeper into what they are measuring and how to use them to your benefit. Because once you develop your pyramid foundations, the remainder of your health journey begins to come into focus. Now, if you want to understand exactly where your own system stands, I'd recommend that you start with my free functional health assessment, which is listed in the description below this video. It's 5 simple at-home measurements. It's 2 minutes, and then one clear starting point to begin to feel like yourself again.